Hi, my name's Graham Stacey. Welcome to the Dons Trust Election Hustings 2025. Here, I'm joined by Simon Hood, who's standing for re-election. We're going to be talking to him for about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to ask him four questions, which we'll be asking all the candidates, and asking him to limit his reply to about 2 minutes on each. We'll then be asking him one question relating directly to his own manifesto and giving him around 3 minutes to talk about that. So, Simon, thanks for joining us. First of all, in about 2 minutes, could you tell us a bit about yourself and why you're restanding for election, please?
Yeah, I won't follow your format, unfortunately, Graham. I'm just going to just waffle about constant things. Um, I am a normal fan. Okay. I don't know the Don's Trust membership still. I didn't last year, and I still don't know it. I've been on the board for 9 months, and I resigned a week or 2 weeks ago now. I can't keep up, and there has been a lot of fallout since then. I'm currently based in the Northwest. I do own a business and I too have two young children, so I don't get to every Don's Trust meeting. So I apologise for all that. But when people need me to be somewhere, I'm there. So I've attended away games. I've done the work behind the scenes. I do the newsletter. I run the social media. So I get involved. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. And you might say, why am I standing again? Because I've resigned. And that is quite confusing. But I believe that the current board lack honesty, transparency, and integrity at the minute. And I think that's been visible from their actions over the elections over the last 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the questions that we're asking all candidates. The first one, finance is a hot topic once again this year. Fans have been asked to donate to various funds. The sale of equity is being mooted again. First of all, could you tell us if you're a fan of fan ownership and what your plan would be if re-elected to make the club sustainable?
I think it's a difficult question to answer fan ownership. What is fan ownership? What we have at the minute is not tradition, it's not fan ownership, I don't think. We're being dictated to by a PLC board. The Dons Trust board may argue that that's not the case, but it's more the case of the dog. I don't want to use that phrase, but the dog wagging the tail or whatever. So first of all, I think we need to establish what fan ownership actually is. Um, I think we've got 7,000 plus members now of the Domis Trust. How many of them actually know that we're fans owned? How many of them actually know what that means and get involved in engagement, etc.? They don't. And I think that was one of the mistakes we made, unfortunately. And I've seen that firsthand from being involved. Um, and in terms of equity, unfortunately, I come from the business world. So take away the emotion for a minute of being a fan and the history of the club. If we need to grow the club and we need to build stands and we need to pay off debt, then unfortunately, equity is the only way forward, I believe. As much as the fans want to dig in their pockets, we've only got so bigger pockets. You know that, Graham, from the stuff you're doing now from the We Are Wimbledon Fund, where people can donate to help with the budget. A little plug for you there. Um, but I do think the other issue we have with equity, once you got rid of it, that's it. So it does need to be the last resort, and we all need to have to be clear and understand what it means to sell the equity and what that money is going to go on, um, and ensure there's still protections.
Brilliant. Yep, thank you. Okay, question number two. We're talking about structure. If you could change one thing about the Dons Trust's relationship with the club or PLC, what would it be and why?
It's a dangerous question for me. Found that we're a little bit scared of upsetting people, whether that's club employees or whether that is the PLC. Now, there are certain members of the Don's Trust Board who will stand up, so I'm not criticising anyone and everyone. But there have been times where, for example, we've put statements together and then we've had to get them checked by the PLC, and it comes back with like it's like going to school at 16 and the headmaster's got his pen out and he's red marked it all over. So I do believe that at the minute the balance is off. I also think that we are scared of upsetting the club employees, and I think that I think when you work for Wimbledon, you need to understand that it's different. And I think we've employed people who we're scared of kind of making them understand that. So, for example, speaking about me, I like to tweet about fan engagement. By Womble's Had a Dream, they did last year, last January, they talked about a video where some social media stars come into the club and they make a little video about the club. And the podcast put, oh, they should be inviting more fan content led in to do similar things. So I said, oh, what a great idea. Maybe they could come in and film the new hospitality room, for example. And within an hour, I got a phone call from the chair of the Dons Trust at the time, the PLC, um, and that I'd upset someone. Now, is that right? Because I'd like to tweet and said, yeah, what a great suggestion, and I've upset someone. So I think that's an example of where the relationship is at the minute. And as I say, like when the Dons Trust want to make a statement, and even a couple of weeks ago they wanted to put a statement out financially about the financial situation, and it's still not come out yet because it got sent to the club to look at. So I just think the relationship's wrong. The balance is wrong. The fans are the owners, and I think we've forgotten that sometimes.
Great, thank you. Question number three. How would you describe the Dons Trust board's standing amongst the 7,000 or so members, and how might you seek to improve that relationship?
I think it's shit at the minute, to be honest with you. I think people don't know where it's coming, where it's going. I don't think they care. I think, and I think that's why I am standing again. I've resigned, but I'm standing again because I want to be the channel that fans or members or whatever we're called these days, if they want to voice their opinion about how unhappy they are, they can vote for me. Clearly, I'm unhappy about the situation. And if they feel like me, vote for me. And then when I get elected, if I get elected, and hopefully it's the most votes ever, we can say, look, the members are feeling like this as well. What we're going to do about it? It's not right. So I also want to say as well that anyone who stands for election or anyone on the board are volunteers, right? And to do that is a mass, well done, hats off to them, etc. And there's an amount of respect that is due to them for doing that, as like you for doing this and others around the club. And part of my manifesto or resignation letter, I can't remember which one it was now, was about the way fans, volunteers are being treated by the club. And I think over the last couple of years and even this last year, I've heard examples where people who have given years of their life to the club have been treated terribly. Even someone got banned for 4 weeks of football recently, and they volunteered for the club for like 20 odd years. Now that doesn't seem to me like a respectful thing to do. And even when Ian Robinson stood down as a board member, he put it in a what group WhatsApp chat for the board members, and the next message was not a thank you. Oh, we've had a record-breaking day on Discord today. Now, what kind of respect level and thankfulness is that? It's just so I just think it's yeah, there's a few things in that answer.
Thank you. Okay, the last of the four questions we're asking everybody. The Dons Trust operates under an MO of collective responsibility, and that can leave fans wondering who on the board is aligned with their views and who is less so. Are you in favour of this, or would you be open to communicating your thoughts on subjects even when they don't fall into line with the majority decision of the board?
Yeah, so I know a few of my votes where I've been the only one who's mentioned it wouldn't have been very popular. But I do believe that collective responsibility should never mean collective silence. So members deserve to ask board members a question and keep them fully involved. And I think to restore kind of the culture of honest debate and general accountability, then we need to be more, or the board need to be more open, definitely. Obviously, there's going to be things where you can't talk about at that time, and there should be justification for that. But at the minute, it is a secrecy at the moment. I mean, for example, one thing which I probably shouldn't say this because I'll lose some votes, but there was a conversation about voting for more women, the budget for the women to add more for that. And again, I put it in a business point of view. Our core product is male football, it's man's football. I've got a daughter, so I'm not against women football at all. But I do think we should focus on our main product, which is the man's football, rather than throwing too much money at the women's club. I know, and again, I'm not against women's football at all, but there's a time and a place when the club can afford it to do that. So, for example, that's me sharing what I voted for and stuff like that. Um, and it can come back to bite you. But also, I think by putting yourself in the position of being on the board, you do put yourself on the front line, and you do need to take some criticism sometimes. And if you don't want to take the criticism or say abuse, um, but you shouldn't put yourself in that position. No one should ever take abuse. Don't get me wrong. There's a way that people can address people and talk to people. Two things I stand for, and I try and drill into everyone: be nice, be kind.
Great. Thank you. Okay, that's the last of the questions we're asking everyone. So I'm going to ask you a question now relating specifically to your manifesto. And I'd like to give you 3 minutes to answer this one, please. In your manifesto, you mention that you've learned where the blocks are and learned what needs to change. Could you expand on that? What blocks are we talking about, and how would you change things if re-elected?
I think the board's been muted, and we need to grow a bit of a backbone again and have a become a bit of a man. And I think there's too much nod heading and agreement and scared to challenge because of going back to things I've discussed already about upsetting people. I do think that where I've come a cropper is when we voted, I tend to be on the majority who are on the less majority. And I think the issue we voted on last year, two of them people who were on voted on left for whatever reasons that we're not allowed to talk about or share. So if you're interested, I go and talk to them. But I think, therefore, the new board members who got on didn't really change anything because we couldn't, because it was just still running how it was running the year before. So what would I change? I mean, I can't imagine the atmosphere if I when I walk in, if I get elected. There's going to be some very upset people, and there's going to be a huge change. What will need to happen because the fans have voted for me. Sorry, members, fans have voted for me um, as a kind of an angry vote, and it will show that the fans want change. So if I'm re-elected, I'll speak up, I'll ask hard, stupid questions, and I'll do everything I can to make sure the club stays by the, owned by the people and led by them too. And I don't think we're led by the fans at the minute. I think we're very defensive. The board is very defensive, and it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that at all. We should all be on the same level. I mean, a silly thing, and it's been discussed before, is the AGMs and stuff like that, where everyone's raised on a platform and and sat up high. I just think it's us and them, and it should never be an us and them. It should just be us. And we need to we need to embrace each other. I mean, well, I submitted a list of like 119 page of ideas, and a few of them have actually been pushed ahead and done with like the sponsor of the bricks, the sponsor of the plaque steps, etc. The give vouchers, trying to release the bottom floor and stuff like that. So, and that come from fan ideas. And I think at the minute we've put up too much, or the club's put up too much of a brick wall.
Right.
And the culture was always going to change as well. When we moved from Kings Meadow to Plough Lane, as much as we didn't like it, that culture was always going to change. And I think there's a few of us who are still not said goodbye to Kings Meadow yet. And there's lots of different kinds of groups of people now, diverse groups. There's the people what kind of grew up with Kings Meadow, who all they knew was Kings Meadow, that was their home. There's the people who, obviously, the old Plough Laners, um, and then there's the fans who just want to come and watch football. But that's just waffling. So I'm not going to waffle anymore. All I'm going to do is, if you want to show exactly how you feel, if you're unhappy with the way the club's being run or the board's running it, I would say vote for me, and that will show everyone that there's a bit of unhappiness amongst the fans.
Great.
So there you go. Good luck.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you very much, Simon Hood. You can catch all the hustings on YouTube, and don't forget to check thedonstrust.org for more details of the election and all the candidate manifestos. Thank you for joining us in the meantime, and hope to see you at the next one. Come on, you Dons.